Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today we are going to be doing a very quick and easy earring set. I'm absolutely loving this paper that I got and these cutters. So I have some ideas of what I want to do. And just to get right into it, I have my water soluble papers. Love these. And I have this clay rolled out to the number 4 on my pasta machine. So that's right about the middle. And what I'm going to do before we do anything is just set this down right onto my clay. And then you kind of want to burnish it a little bit, I guess you could say. So just kind of rub it and make sure it gets on your clay nicely. And then I like to just kind of let mine sit there for a little bit. I mean, when I say a little bit, I'm saying like maybe a minute. And that kind of helps the ink really get into your clay and not wash off so easily. So let that sit. While that is doing that, I have my other clay here. This is rolled out to my number 2 of my pasta machine. So that is the 3rd thickest setting. You can see how thick that is. And then I have this color. I do not need a ton of this. I just need a few pieces. So I'm going to roll this out and condition this. Now I cannot tell you what color this is because this is scrap clay. I like to use up a lot of scrap clay here and there. And this happens to be it. But it's more like a peachy color, but it really matched the paper well. So I want to incorporate this. All right, so this has been sitting for about a minute. Now I'm going to get my water. And then I'm going to spray my water. You will hear or see some people put their paper right underneath the running water in their sink. I don't like doing that because I don't like the idea of putting paper down my sink. So I just use a little bottle. If you have a spray bottle, that's even better. I don't have a spray bottle that's, just laying around. I have to invest in one. I mean, I could go right to the dollar store and get one, so I'll have to do that in the future. It'll be much quicker than pumping water. You can start to tell when your paper is going to be ready. As soon as you get it wet, it kind of gets like this little fuzzy, wet paper towel, wet toilet paper look. And can you see how that's starting to come off? So there you know that it's ready. So what I like to do is take my blade here. Now I'm going to flip it upside down on the dollar side. And then I'm just going to put it on an angle and then just pull all that paper off. And then this will go right in my trash bin. Now some people will stop right there and start cutting their stuff out. Do not do that. It will look very dull and fuzzy and funny looking. And they always say, well, why does my paper look so funny? And well, it's because you're not taking the paper off all the way. So just get it re-wet again. And then just rub your fingers over it very lightly. Do not rub hard. If you rub hard, I'm telling you, you're going to take the ink off and it's not worth it. If you are afraid that you might rub the ink off, then you can cut it, bake it, and then scrub it off afterwards, the paper. I don't like doing that. I don't know why. I just prefer it to do it this way. There's no particular reason why I don't. I just prefer this. And you'll feel right away the difference between the clay and the paper. And you can see all that paper is coming off. You see all this? That's all extra paper that didn't come off the first time. And then I'll just go over it one more time. I'm going to get a wipey and I'm just going to carefully just kind of wipe this and then get all this extra paper out of the way. And now let your piece dry. It shouldn't take long to dry. I let mine only dry a few minutes. If it remains sticky then you could put baby powder on it, but we're gonna put baby powder on it either way. So let me let this sit for a couple minutes, and then I'll show you the next step. So I let everything set for a couple minutes. The next thing I'm gonna do is grab my baby powder. And I'm gonna cut everything right on here on this little tile I have. And I'm gonna put baby powder over this. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because if you put anything on top of this right now, the ink could be wet and it'll just kind of smear and destroy your piece. So by putting baby powder on, it allows you to touch it freely and not have anything kind of rub off or get ruined. So now what I want to do really is put saran wrap over this, because I want my pieces to kind of be bubbled over. So for that, I need to make sure that I have baby powder over it. If I end up putting this saran wrap over it beforehand, the ink's going to kind of go onto the paper and ruin it for me. So I'm going to start cutting out some of these pieces here. Now remember, when you're playing with saran wrap, sometimes you have to press a little bit harder than you normally would, because it doesn't always come out as clean as if it's not on saran wrap, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't cut through as nice sometimes. And can I get another one? I could get one there, but I can not get one there. So we're going to use a different cutter for that. So let's see, 2, 4, 6. And let's just do this one. Here's another new one that I got that I just love. I just think these cutters are so neat. I was kind of hoping everything would just stay right on this tile, but unfortunately it is not. But that's okay. I'm always willing to go with the flow and just kind of go with it. So I would just want to press these down onto my mat though, or not my mat, I'm sorry, my tile. This way everything kind of stays flat and I don't get no bubbles underneath when I bake it. And these particular pieces are going to be used for my other cutter. So let me, I'm not sure if this one cut all the way through, so I am just going to trim it just a tiny bit and see, make sure, because I don't want to tear it. All right, now I'm going to get my other piece of saran wrap. And this one I don't have to put baby powder on because it doesn't matter if it sticks to it. I kind of get it a little wrinkle free if I can. There we go. And now I'm going to use the one that has this part in it, and that's going to press like an indent in it. And you see how it kind of bubbles up like that? And this one was thinner, so it wouldn't bubble up as much. It would be much flatter if I didn't put the saran wrap over it. Now this is nice and sticky, but I'm still going to put a little bit of my clay adhesive right in the middle to make sure. And honestly, you do not need a lot, just very little, because it spreads nicely. And then I just take my finger, spread it over those areas. And then I will smooth my edges out. And then I will place them right in the middle There we go. Let's do that with each one. Okay. Look how pretty those look so far. All right, so now with this one, I'm gonna cut out 6 of these. If they ever get stuck in your cutters, I know it sounds silly, but you can just blow in your cutter and it will pop it out. And I'm actually going to punch my holes in right away. So I have my little hole puncher here. And this little tool that I just cut these out, you can see they have like the little marks. So it tells you exactly where you need to punch your holes out, which is really nice and convenient. And I just need to clean this out. So let me get a wire. This is how I clean my little things out. I just take something small like a wire and then push that clay right through. I used to have a thicker one, but I gotta find it. I don't know what happened to my thicker wire. It used to be here. Let's see if I could get this one in. There we go. I do wonder if pink would look better, but I do like this color. But I do wonder if pink would look much nicer than this color. Because these will be pushed over like that onto here. So they'll be wrapped like that. And I'm not going to do that until they're baked. And then, actually, you know what? Let me do that now. So this, this. And I want this to be kind of loose, if possible, but I don't know if I can actually get it to stay loose. There we go. So I want that all the way down. And there. Let me do a hole up here. Hole right here. And then we're going to do, you know, let's do something a little bit different. Instead of going long ways, let's go this way. So I want to make sure I have it right in the middle. All right, and I think I decided I'm going to put this here, on here, instead of doing the studs. I think that's what I'm gonna do. No, I don't have enough. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see if I have enough. See if I could get 2 more. Okay, let me see. Where's my, right here. So the very last thing I'm going to do before I put these in the oven is take my ball tool, and then I am going to start marking my little pieces up here. I want to give this some texture. I think it's going to look much nicer with texture than without. And then after I'm done with this, that's when I'll put the holes on in them up here. All right, so I will do the rest with all 5 of these, and then I'm going to place them in the oven, recommended time and temperature on the package, and then I will be back. All right, so my pieces are out of the oven. They're completely cooled off, and I'm just going to finish 2 of them because I would do all of them basically the same. So I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do these and how I will do these. So this is going to be the quickest one, so I will show you those. I'm going to use my acrylic marker here. And what I'm going to do is edge off my sides here. Now, I did end up sanding all of this down ahead of time. So if you want to sand anything down, now is the time to do it. And I'm just going to take the marker, and I love this because it's just basically your coloring. And you go right over the edge, and it just finishes it off beautiful. And I like to go right inside of here. Oops. Something on there. So I'm going to get some acetone and I'll clean that up. And that'll take it right off. So just get, I like to kind of get right on the edge so they can see that it's edged off real nice. It just gives it a nice clean look. And then I'll do the same thing on the inside here. I really wanted to kind of edge this off green, but I didn't have the right color green. So I went with the darker pink because I thought it would look real nice with it. Let me get my acetone to show you how easy that comes off. So I'm just going to take one of these little brushes here, and then I'm going to have that soak it up. And then I'll come on this side and just clean that up. And it'll come right off. So very, very simple and easy. And I'm going to get my little rag, and then I'll do a quick wipe and there. So beautifully done. And took a little extra off here. I'm gonna get that all real nice. All right, so before I put my glaze on these, I am going to put the fit-ins on, or the find-ins, however you want to put them. I'm just gonna, so now you can see this is not going to connect properly. So what I want to do is you could either add another jump ring, which I do not like doing, or you could just take it and turn and then connect it that way. And that's the way that I prefer to do my pieces. Now I will give you a fair warning, if you buy really, really cheap ones, they will most likely break. So you want to kind of get right in the midsection of prices. But that is how nice it will look so far. Now you could put resin on these. I'm not going to do resin on these particular ones. I really just want to stick with the gloss glaze. And the part that goes in your ear, make sure that always faces the back of the earring. Look how pretty. I love these. I love the paper. I love the style of the earring. It's just a very pretty earring. All right, so now I'm going to take some of my gloss glaze. This is just from Sculpey. Put a little bit on the table here. And then I am just going to go right over my paper area and my acrylic marker. This will protect my marker, protect my paper, and give me a beautiful shine. And you don't need a lot. Look how pretty. All right, so now I'll hang this up to dry. All right, so now for these ones, I am gonna use resin. And what I like to do is, I just made these. A friend of mine gave me a suggestion of using up some of my scrap clay to do this, and I thought it was a fantastic idea, so I ran with it. And what she does is, she takes a little bit of her tacky paste, or not tacky paste, but sticky tacky stuff. I don't know what this is. And it's like a putty. And it doesn't dry out or anything like that. Just stick it down. Right onto your stuff. And then you could put it right on the back of here. And I thought this was such a great idea, how to use up your scrap clay. I really did. And then all she did was take her resin. Make sure it's level. I'm just going to put it right on the paper area. I'm not going to do the outer part, just this section. And then take my lighter, pop any bubbles. I like to make sure everything is right to the edge. And now I'll put, see, I could pick it up and I could put this right under my UV light now. And the beautiful part is it's up closer now to the light. I'm just going to put a little dot. Now remember, I have 2 holes here, so I need to make sure I'm not going to get resin in those holes. If I do, I can easily just re-drill them, but I always try to do my best not to get the resin in the holes if I can prevent it. So I just go slowly right around those openings. All right, now you can edge the sides of these if you want. I am not going to. I think they look great just the way that they are. And here I want to show you, it leaves no marks. So everything stays really nice and clean. And it stays right in place. So very, very nice to use. Lastly, I'm going to place these together. And then I'll finish up the rest on my own. Just gonna get my jump rings, open those up. Let's see. Okay, so you always want to make sure you have room to move on your piece. There has to be some kind of space between there, otherwise they stick and they're not movable, and then they won't look as nice. So as long as you can move those pieces, you're okay. There we go, we're completely finished. I'll do all these up later on my own, but I think these came out great. I hope that you enjoyed creating along with me. If you did, remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment. All of that stuff really does help push my videos out further. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to see me do next, let me know in the comments of that as well, and I will see you all next time. Bye.